Jain friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the fresh news of the day. Now the flavor of the moment is this Wagner Group which has risen up in revolt against Vladimir Putin and the Russians. Now, what is essentially happening here is that the Wagner Group was involved shoulder to shoulder with the Russian forces in Ukraine, and before that it has had massive operational success in Africa. Now, what is a mercenary group? Let's start from the beginning. A mercenary group is a group that essentially takes money and fights. So it does not fight for an ideology, it does not fight for a cause, it gives its service to the highest bidder. That is what a mercenary group is. Now coming back to the point here, the Wagner Group said essentially that the trigger for this was that their own people had been bombed and killed by the Russian army. So there was this running feud between the head of the Wagner Group and the Minister of Defense for Russia. And of course, the head of the armed forces. But now, it seems that the Wagner Group wants to take on Putin directly. And they've said that we are going to change the system in Moscow. This is a war for freedom. This is a war for, our rights or whatever. And we are going to Moscow. Now, there are 2-3 things here. First of all, this entire story is fake. And let me tell you why it is fake. And I'm willing to make the statement. Save this video and I'll tell you. A mercenary army needs money to fight. A regular country's army also needs money to fight. The Russian forces are funded by the Russian taxpayer. Who's funding Wagner? Till yesterday, he was being funded by Putin. But today, who is funding Wagner? Because to fight every day, let's say he has 100,000 people under him, 100,000 soldiers, as is being shown by the media. Each one of them needs to be paid. Each one of them needs to be given 3 meals a day. Every one of them who's injured will have to be evacuated and given medical attention. Everybody will have insurance. And the sheer amount of money spent in kinetic warfare, fighting, is phenomenal. Millions upon millions of dollars every single day will be spent. Weapons will be broken and they'll have to be replaced. Weapons will have to be destroyed, replaced. People will die. They have to be replaced. Fresh ammunition. Now, this Wagner Group is inside Russia. Do they have access to fresh ammunition? The Russian army does. The Russian army is operating in Russia against Wagner. So, they have their factories, they have their supply chains. What about the Wagner Group? So, they have some amount of ammunition, and let us say they go and they capture a city. What then? What are the lines of communication and supply? How can the Wagner Group hope to reach Moscow? Because somebody is funding the Wagner Group. Otherwise, what is their source of funds? Like I said, the Russian army is being funded by the Russian state. Who's funding the Wagner Group? Nobody has unlimited funds. There is somebody behind the Wagner Group. It could be the Western powers, it could be America, it could be NATO, because Ukraine does not have that kind of money. It has to be somebody who has funded them, and these people have taken a U-turn, and rather than going westward towards Kyiv, they've taken a U-turn and are going eastward towards Moscow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the truth. More such truths will come out in the days to come. Now, what will happen? I think Putin is going to wipe out the Wagner Group. Unless some crazy palace coup happens which you can't account for. I'm 100% sure the Russian forces will wipe out the Wagner Group. I'm 100% sure that they'll get control of the Wagner Group. The people who have to be punished will be punished. The people who have to be, in the Russian sense, executed will be executed. And that is how Russia will play its cards. But let me tell you, this has been a terrible experience for Putin. Because people will say that you can't control your own people. You're the one who helped set up the Wagner Group. It was under your guidance that the Wagner Group was set up. You were the boss. And you are the boss today. And the Wagner Group was set up right under your nose. But if Putin is smart, he's going to play it the other way around. He could come up with a narrative saying that, the reason why I was not successful in Ukraine was I had such backstabbers fighting next to me. And they were the people who never allowed the Russians to win. Now, first, let me get rid of the traitors, and then I will sort out Ukraine. This whole thing about, people inside who would betray Mother Russia, this is a very old narrative that is floated in Russia very often. Lenin did it, Stalin did it. Putin does it too. In the 21st century, Putin does these things. So it's very Russian to say that, There are traitors inside, and let's first sort out the traitors and then we get to the main enemy. So I think for the now, Ukraine can breathe in peace, but the Russian bear will come back. The primary target now is the Wagner Group. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon with another fresh video. Till then, Jai Hind and have a great day.